Welcome to Shooting the Ish. Yeah, baby. Baby. Hello.
How you doing?
What's good?
Oh, we got a lot of sexy things to talk about this week.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
There was a lot of sexual content that we watched over the last week that was not pornographic and not entirely.
Not entirely, but there was pornographic innuendos.
Did you see Don Jon?
I did. I saw a screening of it a couple of weeks ago before it came out. It was very good.
Man, I was so pleasantly surprised by that. I was a little worried. We were talking when I saw the trailer that it was going to have good acting, but the story itself wouldn't be that good. But I was blown away at how good it was. It was really good. Great editing, great direction, funny as hell the whole way through. I was engaged and entertained and laughing.
Not bad for a freshman start, right?
Oh, not at all. This guy's got. You could tell that everything about this guy is hard work and dedication and craft. Good job to Gordon-Levitt. That was awesome. And Scarlett Johansson did a great job in that role. Good job to your buddy too. Turbo, your buddy Turbo, he did a great job.
Jeremy Luke.
Well, yeah, we need, our generation's going to need a Joe Pesci type of guy, and there it is. He did a great job.
Yeah, he's good. He was very funny.
Because Joe Pesci's getting old. He can't play a guy who's going to a nightclub. He could, but it would be funny, to laugh at that because of how old he is at this point. But no, in terms of people who are our age or in their 20s, and this Joe Pesci character is a character that works and that audience responds to. So the fact that he got that role is really cool, and hopefully he could get more of those in the future.
Yeah, he's actually he's got a role on that new TNT show that's starting in December, Mob City.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, he did.
Good
nice.
for him. Yeah, because you know what it is? Turtle from Entourage, he has too much of the hip-hop thing going on, so the specific Joe Pesci character needs to be filled. And if he could put his own little twist on it, great.
That's true. No, I agree with you. I mean, if Joe Pesci went into a club, I think this should be playing.
You got it.
Yeah, they played this in the movie, and it was really funny. It was very, you know what was refreshing about it? It was a love story that was not completely sappy.
Yeah.
It was really a character development story, and it was really a reflection of today's society and relationships. And, I heard Gordon-Levitt saying this in the promotional stuff, and it's true. It's about the false expectations we have for each other. And the fact that, they didn't make it about a guy who really likes the girl, but they break up, but they get back together. They started going down that course and had an interesting twist at the end. And the fact that they made them East Coast people was hilarious. It was so refreshing for me to see, an East Coast love story where it doesn't have to be sappy all the time. They could be getting into fights all the time, but still at the end of the day, people love each other, even though they have these weird confrontations and arguments.
And absolutely, that's where a lot of stuff, at least in real life, happens. We set these expectations for one another in relationships, where the issue with that is we might have a misconception of who the other person, who our counterpart in that relationship is in the first place. So because there's a misconception of who that person is, we set these expectations, and then when they're not met, we're upset with them, and then upset with ourselves for
wasting your time.
For waiting for something that will never happen.
Right.
So was the film gratuitous in its sexual content?
It started off with some really good shots of how we're all surrounded by sex, and it's everywhere, and it's in your face, and it's in advertisement, and it's on billboards, and it's walking around the streets, so.
Yeah, it is.
They didn't play into the fact that he was a sex addict, which we'll get into later with Thanks for Sharing, but they definitely, this film kind of took the tone of, It's just a generational thing. There's guys who always have sex in their mind that are now have the internet and sex on their phone if they want it, and it's up to you to, as a personality trait, to try to find meaning in the vast landscape of void in the void of nonsense that exists today.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's the way I took it. Because, there was a lot of good things about Levitt's character. He had good character. It was just that he also really liked porn, sort of thing. Basically, yeah, it was taking the tone that it was a lot about learning, and that his character was only exposed to things that were pornographic, and then therefore he was never exposed to a real good relationship. So how could he even know? And it kind of explored that.
Absolutely. And the girl who winds up being in a relationship with him, he has to hide who he really is to her. And we all know when you hide big aspects of your personality in relationships, that's not going to end well. Sooner or later, the true you is going to come out.
I had a very loserish moment once in my mid-20s, I guess, where I was playing NFL Blitz on Nintendo 64, which, keep in mind, came out 10 years prior, at like 3 in the morning, up all night when I should have been looking for a job the next day. I was with my buddy, and both of our girlfriends called us at the same time, and we both pretended we were sleeping. So we could keep playing NFL Blitz like children.
I've definitely done that before, where I was out and I had to go into the next room or something. Like, hello. Oh, hey, babe, what's up? Is everything okay? Where are you? Blah, blah. I'm like, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. I didn't text you. Good night. I'm sorry.
You know what was great about that film? There were so many little moments that brought you back to that the character was aggressive. Even though they were doing a bunch of love and, things that in other movies would appear sappy, they didn't soften the characters up. Like, he would still get into a car accident or a near car accident and curse somebody out, and it wasn't to make it like, oh, look how bad of a person he is or whatever like that. It wasn't for any effect. It was simply to bring back the East Coast feel, and some people have that vibe about them, and that was really cool, like an East Coast love story.
Brian, is that you?
No, it's not.
Oh my goodness. He has risen.
Are you talking to us through a tin can?
Please don't play that damn theme music, and no, I'm not talking to you through a tin can.
Alright, well, we were just saying the movie was very good. It had a very East Coast vibe.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that part. That's a good thing, I guess. Makes me want to check it out.
Yeah, really good job to Gordon-Levitt. I'm excited to see what happens next. They took an interesting twist in it. When I saw Julianne Moore, I got a little worried. I said, "Oh, please do not fuck this up. Please do not fuck this up." But she actually played a really good character. I noticed that
was the best part.
Question for you, Chris. When the hell did she ever fuck anything up?
You know what it is? It's just that I don't like her when she's in when she plays more of like a side character or a funny role or a sexual role. I like her, but I was thrown off by seeing her in Children of Men because I was so engrossed, and it just seemed like a standard Hollywood actress had entered the picture.
But she's a good actress, man.
No, she is. It's just that and you know what? I think I got a little ticked about Hannibal, but how could she? She couldn't copy Jodie Foster's performance, but at the same time, she didn't add any nuance to the character, so it was just like a standard role, which was not her fault. Anyway, she was great in this. She was equally good. The casting of this movie was absolutely perfect. It was just really good, start to finish. I was engrossed, and I enjoyed it the whole time. And that was interesting that the girlfriend character kind of turned into the bad guy, which I understand why the trailer did not show that now, which was my gripe, that the trailer didn't show any antagonist in the movie.
Yeah, it couldn't. It would have given it away.
I guess we are doing that right now. Sorry. Anyone, go see the movie. But if you've ever dealt with East Coast girls, I mean, that is what the deal is. Like, they have that princess vibe, and there are moments where you're going to be highly frustrated with them.
I think the frustration travels from East Coast to West. It's just that on the West Coast, the girls are much loonier in a dangerous and possibly eat your soul alive sense.
Okay, what as compared to what?
As just a bitchy, want their way kind of girl, which is what Scarlett Johansson played. Like she was trying to change him, but at the end of the day, she was just a princess getting what she wanted always. You know, out here that's a very East Coast type of thing. Out here in the West Coast, there is no rhyme, reason, or logic to why women do things and why they don't.
And I guess the difference would be a strong family structure, which is, a big part. It came into play a lot, where you could see that as they were moving along through the steps of their relationship, some of it was like, are they dating each other, or are they dating each other's friends and families, or what's going on here?
Yeah.
And you could definitely feel that in a relationship. You bond with the person's family, where after it's over, you might not even miss the person you were with, but you're like, man, I wish everyone was still cool.
Exactly.
And it's just, you know what it is? It's just we live in a new world where we have freedom of choice. We live in a free society, but these are problems that arise in a free society. There's no more arranged marriage, but the shit had been going on for so long that something inside of us is ingrained to still get that.
That's true.
So it's just the dilemma of choice, and that some people, given a choice, fuck up. Some people would have rather liked a life 500 years ago where they didn't have much of a choice. And there was set paths of success, and you knew if you just did what you had to do inside of that society structure, everything would be cool. But as you see in this country, we got a lot of fuck-ups. And we got a lot of fuck-ups because they got the choice to fuck up.
Right, too many choices, basically. And on the female side, there is that ingrained sense of you go along in order to get along in that sense. What I mean by that is like, even though like your partner has flaws, it's like, it's all right. We'll work this thing out, when sometimes it's just irreconcilable for the most part. Do you ever get that feeling?
Well, many a woman has tried and been disappointed at the end of the day to change a guy.
This is true.
And if they do change the guy, they usually, their respect level for that guy then lowers greatly. I've noticed.
Right, and then like sometimes they don't want to break up with the person, or because they're afraid of being alone, so they just hang around that other guy because they feel the need to have someone to blame for their misery in life.
That's true. You'll see a girl get with another guy rather quickly after breaking up. Like, girls don't stay single for long, but that's because the relationship was really over a year ago and they were just waiting for the next guy.
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to offend anyone out there, but it happens.
No, women are out of the relationship way before a guy ever is.
The guy's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But women are out of it a month before the actual breakup happens, and that's why several week turnaround, they have a rebound guy, and whether or not the guy is sleeping around or whatnot, it's not the same for a dude, because a lot of times it's that casual sex that you think might fill the void, but actually doesn't.
I know a lot. I think I have like the mind of a female sometimes. Whenever I've like gone to break it off with someone, they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I felt this way for like a month." They're like, "Huh?"
Well, I guess because to them you're like an ugly bastard, and they think you can't do better or something like that. I don't know.
Oh my.
They're like, this fucking cue ball, puss head looking motherfucker's breaking up with me? Get out of here.
You can't break up with me. I break up with you.
Oh, you, exactly.
You son of a bitch.
Right.
Hey, that's life on the run for you.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, I gotta start living that way.
But no, it was great. It was.
You don't want my life
for entertainment, even for entertainment value. Lots of good points made, but even for entertainment value, very entertaining. Tony Danza as the dad, who was jacked, it was in great shape, was very funny. He just wanted to watch football the whole time.
And scream, and he wanted to bang Gordon-Levitt's girlfriend as well.
This was like this was like Silver Linings Playlist, except the third act didn't falter. It was just as good throughout, and it had interesting twists and turns at the end, where Silver Linings kind of got generic at the end, even set up a good foundation.
Yeah.
It was cool. All right, we talked too much about this. The next one, we're going to stay on the sex theme because there was a lot out there related, and there's a lot of, I guess, issues that are coming to the forefront now with our generation that, or just our current society, regardless of what your age is, in regards to sex. And the next one was Thanks for Sharing, which is about sexual addiction, which a lot of people find to be a joke, but for the people who are truly sex addicted, it is not a joke. And the reason why it's looked at as a joke is because every guy who cheats on their wife does come out and say, "Oh, I got to go to sex addiction." So that has made it a joke publicly because public figures have used that as a get out of jail free card. However, there is such a thing called sex and love addiction. At least there is such a term, and you know, they have meetings just like Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous and all these other things. And Thanks for Sharing was basically an independent movie with A-list actors about
sex addiction.
Sex addiction. And what did you think?
I liked it a lot. Some of my favorite actors are in it. Mark Ruffalo, Tim Robbins, Gwyneth Paltrow was in it. She looked amazing, did she not?
Yeah, she was really hot.
She was absolutely jaw-dropping. And it's also the what was that chubby guy's name? Do you know?
Yeah, he was really good in it.
He's very good. He was
when they started, I thought he was just going to be playing a gimmick character, but he had the most character transformation throughout. Where at the end, it was so strange. At the end, he did such a good job from becoming like a goofy loser to becoming like on the right path that your brain was tricked into the fact that you were like, is he losing weight?
Right.
Like, oh, I think if this film would go on another 20 minutes, he'd be skinny in the next scene or something.
But it was also that has to do with the wardrobe. In the beginning, he was dressed all sloppily. He didn't give a shit. His addiction was taking him over.
Yeah.
He didn't care about his appearance. He didn't care about anything. But towards the end, where he started fixing himself, quote unquote, fixing himself, he was dressing properly. He looked better. He looked overall well put together.
For any guy who has ever jerked off, ever lifetime, there is a scene where the big guy, I don't know his name, he does a scene where he's jerking off and eating donuts in between jerk-offs. It is so fucking hilarious, man. It is sad, but when you're watching, you're like, okay, wow, he just fucking went there.
Yeah, that's a different level that I have yet to reach.
And Pink is also in this film, correct?
Yeah, she did a good job. Obviously, it's goofy seeing her with the bleached hair, different color hair, but she's got a gimmick to maintain. But as far as a musician breaking into a film, she did a good job, and she showed some heart and soul and all that. That was cool.
So it was a better.
I'm not a big fan. I thought it was cool. What's that?
So it was a better freshman effort than Mariah Carey's Glitter, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think it's worth the response. But it was really cool. There was no lead main character. There was basically an ensemble cast of 6 or 7 people all dealing with addiction in different ways. Some of them had compounded addictions like alcohol and narcotics as well. And then there was even little side characters that would have addictive outbursts, and it would show how their lives were affected by addiction. So the movie was not so much about sexuality as Don Jon was, than it was about strictly addiction.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of addiction themed. The whole movie was addiction themed.
It was depressing. It wasn't funny like Don Jon was. It wasn't the theme of it wasn't you can rise above your afflictions. It was like admit that you could never rise above them and then you'll be okay. But you'll always have to deal with it.
Oh, that's how addictions work. I mean, you always have to battle with it. It's not necessarily it's not beating it. Yeah. And then you never have to deal with it. It's a constant struggle.
There was a scene at the end where Mark Ruffalo was losing his quote-unquote sexual sobriety, and he got with a chick from his past who was into a lot of freaky things sexually. And I understand that for the purposes of storytelling, they wanted it to appear that this was losing control, and that's why they did the scene, and she was going from sexual she was going from sexual fantasy to sexual fantasy within the matter of seconds. But that was the only point that kind of messed with me in the film, because some people can handle that stuff responsibly, role play and things like that, and I don't think they should have been daisy chained in that way, where 1 minute the girl wanted role play, the next minute she wanted the guy to hit her. I don't believe that that's always the case, and I don't like how that was presented in that way, because of the fact that it was kind of presenting something that was not necessarily true just for the sake of having a crazy character in the moment. But they were responsible with that in every other way. I just thought that moment was a little weird.
Yeah. That girl had a lot of underlying issues, and it all came to fruition when she got back with the guy that was using her for sex, because that's probably what was happening when he was deep into his addiction. Who knows? There's no bounds. When you're deep into it, you don't realize what you're doing to the people around you, what effects it's going to have on the people you're dealing with, or the consequences. So she jumped right back into it, thinking that he was the same exact person, when all he did was relapse, which basically brings you back to the same person you were, but you do know more. And you do, at some points, see a line that you can't cross again. And then it brings you back down to earth, which is what happened when she started getting abusive, I'd say, or wanting to be abused at that point.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Mark Ruffalo, I don't know if he was doing a great acting job, but just the way his eyes are shaped, he looked like a junkie, so it was perfect. The one thing was, it was a good concept. I'm glad it got out there, even though it was limited release and had a bit of an indie feel, shots not being perfect. Whether it was like not the sharpest focus or not the best camera used or not framed perfectly and pretty. But I think I would like to see this concept redone again in a movie that is like an A movie. Not that this didn't have A performances, but I would like to see this movie done again in a more big budget Hollywood way, if possible, in the way that Silver Linings was done,
Yeah.
It would be cool. I think this was a good first step for that, I mean, let's movie aside, what do you feel about sexual addiction? Do you feel like this is just people convincing themselves that they have a problem, or do you think that it's good that this is coming out there? Like, would this be an issue if we weren't so overpopulated? Don't have sex, you're addicted. Like, if we were only a couple people left humans alive, I think the government, people in place would say, everybody fuck a lot, go.
Well, this is the issue with sex and love addiction that people don't necessarily understand. Just like an alcohol or drug addiction, it doesn't necessarily become an issue unless it starts affecting your life and affecting the people around you.
Yeah.
And sex and love addiction becomes an issue, or it's only considered an addiction when it's thwarting your way to live, when it's alienating everyone around you and lessening your quality of life. So it is a very, very, very real thing, and it's only coming to fruition now when we're actually taking into consideration that mental health is just as important as physical health. Because for a long time it wasn't. Like, if there was something wrong with the kid growing up in class, he's just a little crazy. He's just a little that. If he had a fucking stutter, yeah, he's stupid.
Right, right.
Or if he had some form of autism, yeah, he's just retarded. This is only recently, the last 20 years, that all these things are coming into light. Along with that comes with different mental afflictions, such as sex and love addiction, which is a very, very, very big problem. Because that you're surrounded with all the time. If you're addicted to drugs or alcohol, there are ways of getting around it and not being around it, not hanging out in a bar, not surrounding yourself with people that do drugs. There are ways of limiting yourself to that, limiting your exposure to that.
Right.
But when you're addicted to love and sex, you're surrounded by fucking women and everybody, whether you're interested in men, whether you're interested in women, all the time. There is no escaping it.
And even for the guy who was jerking off a lot, he's like they said, like that one character said, it's like a crack pipe that's always attached to you. I could jerk off any time.
That's what it is.
What's his name? The older guy, Tim Robbins. He said so many funny lines because he was like the guru who had who was like those everyone's sponsor, and he had so many funny lines. I wish I could remember them all.
The young guy's name, the fat guy, was Josh Gad.
Josh Gad. Well, great job for him. But yeah, the Tim Robbins as the guru, he would say so many funny things. Like he would have these little one-liner quotes that's like, wow, I'm really, I don't know why he said it, but it's really making me think.
Yeah, because he was like the seasoned vet.
Yeah.
Know? I liked it a lot. It shed some light on this issue that a lot of people think is a joke or a cop-out, which a lot of people do use it as a cop-out, but it's not. Problem. It's not, man, really. And I can relate to a lot of it. I have not been classified as a sex and or love addict, but a lot of these symptoms and issues I can absolutely relate to in this movie, and it's very eye-opening.
Well, based on things you've said, I'd maybe say it's more of the love thing, but yes. I don't know. Hey, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not gonna say what you are.
Well, you're a pretty good judge of character, and you've known me. We've known each other our entire lives, so I would respect anything you said towards me. And if I didn't, I would just say fuck you.
Oh, okay. Very respectful of you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just something that there are so many. What stance do you take on this? Do you take the Don Jon stance, or do you take the thanks for sharing stance? Because there are so many things in our environment now. And it was so funny that both movies started the same way, showing advertisements of, girls in skimpy clothing and stuff like that.
Yes, they did. They absolutely did.
Well, sex sells.
Yeah. And obviously Don Jon being the comedic one, that's probably why I liked it more. I was a little too depressed by Thanks for Sharing. Kind of saying that there's no hope ever if you're an addict. You have to just admit that you have a problem and deal with that.
Well, I mean,
don't you guys believe that, say for instance, like the invention of marriage, don't you think that's a bit unnatural for human beings to a great extent?
I don't know. Based on, the way that human beings work in a tribal way.
Put it this way. Don't you feel like, that the idea of marriage is not for everyone? It's maybe for like a small percentage of people. But the majority of people, it's hard for them to.
Well, I think it goes back to what I was saying before, in that we're in an interesting time in human development, and also where we live, because we live in a free society, but there's a lot of mistakes you can make when you're free to choose whatever you want, whereas in the past it wasn't an issue. And I think the marriage thing was natural at the time because, or still is in a way, because humans are tribal and humans work in groups, and sometimes a marriage is the best to create a big, strong group and create a lot of members of that group. So, if we were on a desert island, I think it would be forbidden to say something like sex addiction, because we would need to fuck all day long to produce more children. But we're at a point in society where, yeah, it's cool you're gay. Yeah, it's cool you don't want to have sex for years. That's cool. And do whatever you want. We have so many individuals running around. We don't have food to feed them all. We're making fake-ass food to feed them all.
Well, I think also, in addition to that, it has to do back then with the mortality rate, in a sense, like, people, were living shorter lives. So it's like, all right, so what do? Well, get married and have as many kids as possible before you croak. Now right. It's like, with technology being advanced and all that jazz, and having a hell of a lot more options on the table, people are just not, jumping the gun in terms of like getting married. So.
Right. And then what you're saying, I'm not saying that you're selfish as opposed to anyone else, but what you're saying.
No. I'm very selfish.
No, but what you're saying in and of itself is a selfish question, and saying, is marriage, something to do? Because just our society in general, we have choice, and choice makes you selfish because you choose what you want. Where in the past, things were done for the greater good of A, B, or C, whether or not they were misguided. So in the past, this would not be an issue at all or as much. And then, that's That's why some people who were considered selfish for thinking like the way we do now, when we have the time to say, oh, I'm going to have a long life. What should I do? How should I plan it? Back then, there was no chance. It was survive, and this how you survive is pass forward your genes, and that was it. End of story, right? Why would we even need to contemplate such a philosophical question as should people get married? We need to survive. But like you're saying, that's changed in some way.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say there wasn't people who were sex addicted back then, but like you're saying, George, we're having better ways to diagnose and deal with individuals who have problems without judging them or labeling them crazy. And it's good that this is coming out because this is still something that was viewed as a joke, or that Jay Leno would make some crap joke about.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and to play devil's advocate for the most part, yeah, is most people will look at the idea of sex addiction as silly, in the sense that, you're just basically, you're just going on your primal instincts and all that, because, human beings by nature, they like to consume. In this case, sex is one of the main things.
You know what it is? All guys have sex on their mind, as studies have shown. So the fact is every guy a sex addict? Like, what's the line? The line here is drastically different between sexes, so that also comes into play.
Very true.
And Don Jon kind of was going into that a little.
Yeah. And I know a lot of women that have sex on their mind all the time, and they're just considered whores.
And George is knocking on their door as soon as we're off the air.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No, I've dated several of them, but that's besides the point.
Damn.
Just not now. Not at this current time. He's not.
No. No, I'm doing the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But that's a double standard. Like, guys who seek help.
We met right after the show, but okay.
But yeah, you're saying Gwyneth Paltrow played a very sexual character who was not actually sex addicted, and that's why she was doing certain kinky or role play-y things that were not shown as sex addicted. When meanwhile the sex addicts doing the same thing, because of their character and how far they were able to fall and how fast, they were then classified as sex addicts. So it's a very blurred line, and it all matters how it affects you, I guess.
That's true.
What else? Oh, well, more sex. I saw Masters of Sex on Showtime.
I haven't seen that yet.
It was really cool. It was, like we were talking about the hour dramas and all that stuff. It was one of those, well lit, well acted, good writing. It was about the beginning, a pre-sexual revolution in the 50s, where we always look back and say, wow, they were corny, they didn't know anything about sex, or they didn't do anything about, they were like a different breed back then. They were old school, but the fact of the matter is, we've been exposed to a ton of education on sex that those guys did not know. And it was taboo to even look into it because it was considered smut. So this follows the career of a guy who you can't tell if is like a heartfelt pioneer of science or just a mad scientist who's experimenting with sex and having women have orgasms and recording the EKGs of people having sex in front of him. And it starts off with him paying a prostitute to be his worker and hiding in the closet while she brings men in, and recording the times of their ejaculations based on how the lady's moaning. So it goes into a lot of crazy topics. There's no clear-cut good and evil. Even in your main characters, it's like very morally ambiguous. But I think that works for the concept. It's basically the whole show seems to be a fight between traditionalism versus new school, and it takes place in the 50s, and it's very good.
Yeah, I plan on watching it. I just haven't seen it yet. I haven't had the time.
The pilot's for free on YouTube, Showtime's YouTube channel. So I guess that they feel strongly about it. And if you like, if you like seeing naked bodies, they have actually found a way to show a lot of sex and a lot of nudity in a way that says, no, this is really just the scientific exploration of sex. Which, if you're cynical, you would say that. But at the same time, what they're doing is true. It's going along the lines, and it's basically showing the scientific pre-sexual revolution, the scientific discoveries of sex and what it does.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
No, it sounds it.
And the main character, or the scientist guy, takes it a very clinical, scientific exploration of sex, where he meets then a woman who comes in she was like just, I don't know if she was a groupie or what her deal is, but she's very charming and she's a little bit of a hustler and she knows the natural sexual side of things, so them two as a pair is dangerous. And the fact that they could basically get kicked out of the university for doing these studies, and they're doing a lot of them without anyone knowing. Mm-hmm. While he has a wife, and he's like a fertility expert, but his wife can't get pregnant. So there's a bunch of conflict. That was really cool. You would like it, George. You might watch that sort of thing over. Like,
no, I will.
You're into those dramas, so you might like that.
I do love drama.
That was it. I mean, it was a good show. Check it out. There was also the South Park this week. They debuted last week, but this week they actually did a episode on sex. That was one of the best episodes they've had in a year or two. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, that is. I actually have a clip from it.
Oh, okay. South Park's one of those shows that, at this point they've been on for so long, but not all of their stuff is crap. Like, they'll come out with a really grand slam episode once in a while, and it's because their creators are still involved. Obviously, it's not going to be ever as hot as it was when it debuted, but this was a good episode, and they have about one or two really solid ones a season.
That's true. This one, basically the setup of the show is that the kids decided to block their parents watching these sex-filled crime dramas, and in order for the parents to unlock the blocked TV channels, they had to learn how to play this game Minecraft, which we will get into. But here is an excerpt from this past week's episode of South Park.
Uh-oh, who's got...
It's Don B.
Who's got the cops on them?
I got 2 stars. All right, give me a second.
Does Hollywood just always sound like police sirens? What is going on over
there? There are occasional police sirens, yeah. Let's hold on. 2 stars. Hold on, they're flashing right now. Down to 1.
Yeah.
1 second, down to 1. I'm hiding behind a tree, and I'm switching cars right now, and they are gone. All
wow.
Right, excellent. All right, I'm good at evading the fucking cops, man.
Good God. Well, at least I know who my getaway driver is. So
I got you. I need a fast car so I can get away.
Oh, you laugh now, Chris. I'm dead serious.
Blocking our TV content.
Wait, could you start this over? Start that clip over.
Who do our children think they are? Blocking our TV content.
How are they able to do this with their smartphones?
It's all right. Our kids think they outsmarted us, but we're the ones who pay the cable company. What'd they say? Can they remove the parental lock?
No, they just did their usual cable company runaround.
What? We'll see about this. Excuse me. Our content is being blocked and we need it now. I'm sorry, sir. If you need it now, perhaps you should switch to another cable company. Oh, there's not another cable company, is there? Oh, that's right. We're the only one in town.
Rubbing his nipples. The cable guy is rubbing his nipples while he's telling him this. Keep in mind.
Yeah. They were ripping on the cable
content, and you must be able to block them. As we told the others, sir, we can fix it. We just need to send a technician out to your house to change out your cable box. Oh, okay, great. We just need to find a window of time you can be home. How about between the hours of 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. all of November? No, I can't wait around my house from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. all of November. Oh, you can't? Jeez, that's too bad. You need to be home for the technician. Have you thought of switching to DirecTV?
Okay.
I can't afford...
He's still rubbing his nipples.
Yeah, so there was a joke that they were talking about how badly screwed people who pay for cable are screwed by the cable company. But the show was basically, the reason they were blocking it was like these Discovery Channel or A&E crime dramas, where they're like, he took the knife and killed his wife. And for some reason, the older people were getting horny watching them, and they're like, no, we really just like documentaries. But from the kids' point of view, the parents were going to kill each other because that's what they were watching on TV. Right. So it also dealt with the generation gap, and it flipped it on its head in that usually the parents in South Park are always grounding the kids and something crazy happens. In this case, the opposite happened. The kids, because they had knowledge of technology, flipped it on the parents and grounded them because they didn't want the parents to kill each other. And what they did was they put a password on it that said, how do you get the horse in Minecraft, in the game Minecraft? So the parents didn't even know what Minecraft was, so they had to look into what Minecraft was.
Yeah, which is an interesting topic in itself.
Minecraft is a game that has seemingly no point. I played it with my little brother who is ecstatic and loves it and has a whole community of people. They talk about all this different stuff that they're doing in the game, but if you visually watch them doing it, they ain't doing shit in the game. I've never seen something like this. It's like a game with no point. It's kind of like Legos in that you build things together, but it still is very crappy. It looks like the beta version of a game that is not completely finished.
Yeah, it looks worse than. Go ahead.
So is it more fun than Tetris?
No
game
way.
Is literally made in China and looks like it was made in China. This is like a bad playing into stereotypes.
It looks worse than the original Doom for Windows 95. Worse.
Oh, okay.
Bad graphics, bad gameplay, floaty mechanics, no point, but seemingly everyone loves this, and it's very hard to figure out why. So I feel like the parents here on South Park, so they have to learn how to play Minecraft. And just like their Warcraft episode, when the people are actually playing the game, it's quite humorous to see cartoon characters playing a real game.
We have an explanation from somebody on why they love Minecraft.
Why I play Minecraft is because you can build anything. You can build buildings, you can build anything. And redstone is like electricity in Minecraft. It's an electric version of Minecraft because you can press a button and.
All right, see, this is our timeout. This is where the conversation goes. It's like there's no point to this game, and the people who talk about this game have no point when speaking. They just go into like the random little details, but it's like, why are you playing though? It doesn't seem fun.
Yeah, apparently it's just building things and other people coming along and destroying them with no end in sight.
Oh yeah, what does he say? Anything else?
A few things.
Things so complicated, and also the reason why I play Minecraft is because you can say if you want something that's not in regular Minecraft. So there's people out there that actually create mods for Minecraft, so you can.
You know what it's like with this game? This game takes all the community aspect of gaming, but doesn't include the actual gameplay. It's like all the nonsense that surrounds games, but the gameplay is not good. The core is not good.
That's true. Yeah, I've watched you play it. It looks terrible.
I tried to play it once with my little brother, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" But maybe it's a generational gap, and that's what they were alluding to in the show. It's like it's very secretive; only younger people play it.
But young kids, like nobody our age plays it.
No, it's much younger thing.
It's interesting.
Anything else? Is there anything else on there?
Yeah, there's a few seconds left.
Okay, what's that?
Something that's not in the regular Minecraft and make it more fun. It'll make it more fun, and you'll actually have like a goal. A goal. Okay? See ya.
All right, so you make your own goal, I guess is the point of it.
Well, from
maybe
what
we might be so old that we just don't have imaginations anymore.
Maybe, but it seems to me from this Minecraft player that the reason he plays Minecraft is to add things on from other versions of Minecraft.
Yeah, that's like saying, "Oh, I bought the new game because I knew I could buy a lot of extra content afterwards."
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You know what it's like? It's like Pokemon. It's like this generation's Pokemon. It's like a pyramid scheme of buying shit.
Yeah, but Pokemon made sense.
Did it?
Yeah, you the video game at least you were on an adventure to capture all these little Pokemon, and then you had to battle other people that had their Pokemon. So whoever had the better, stronger Pokemon. Pokemon.
Let him finish. This is getting interesting.
You know, it was a battle. It was see who can strategize better. What little Pokemon would be better against the other Pokemon, and whoever would win moves on. In this one, there's no battle. There's no conflict.
It sounds like the next. It sounds like a next step to the Sims game from what you guys are explaining to me.
Yeah, but The Sims, you built a life, you built a house, you had a family.
No, well, I mean, like, with that and also SimCity and, it looks like that it's kind of taking off. It's taking that and expanding it, It's basically a game about nothing.
Brian,
it's almost like
I can't tell, but if it's because you're talking, but there's a sound of crickets coming from behind.
That's because I have the window wide open and you can hear them. That's why.
Brian, are you
no.
Where are you in a tree or something? I mean,
it's Brian.
Are you in a tree?
I get up and I'm gonna hang up. Now, no, I'm just I'm just saying, I guess they're from what I'm hearing, they basically took the concept of the Sims franchise, from the Sims franchise, and they basically are making it a game about nothing. Almost like, how like Seinfeld's a show about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just basically, hey, let's give the players free reign to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, but the creators of Seinfeld were very smart. People in general are very stupid.
Well, I guess that's what they were taking advantage of.
Yeah, I guess it's hard for someone who has any sense or who grew up playing Mario that it's all about your goals, to then see like people just wandering the earth doing nothing, or the landscape doing nothing.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that was that. South Park. It was a really cool episode. Obviously, when they're good, they're real good, and we know that they've been good. Those guys have been cranking out good stuff for a long time, including a good film that got nominated for an Oscar. They have a play that won a Tony. So it is what it is. Do you want to real quick do a little sports thing here and change it up?
Yes.
The last couple of minutes. Justin came with another clip.
Yeah, we have a nice clip from Justin here about the terrible start that the Giants have gone off to.
What's up, guys? If you can just give me a couple of minutes, I want to talk about the Giants coaching staff. Let me start off with the offensive coordinator, Kevin Gilbride. This fucking guy is one of the worst offensive coordinators in football. How this guy is still the coordinator on this team is a mystery to me. He's horrible. He's fucking horrible. Number 2, Perry Fuel, the defensive coordinator. Since he was hired in 2010, the Giants have given up the most points in the NFL since then. He's another guy I have no idea is still on the staff. Mind-boggling. Now on the Coughlin. You know what? I like Coughlin. He's one of those Parcells disciples. But you know what? It's time for a change. The guy's almost 70 years old. Pretty soon they're going to be putting this guy in a fucking wheelchair, and he's going to be coaching in a wheelchair for us. It's time to get a younger coach. I'm tired of Coughlin. I'm tired of his friggin' coordinators. It's time for a new head coach. And I don't care who bashes me for it. Coughlin's got to go. There's been too many collapses under this guy since he's been here. He's been here 9 years. And in the 9 years he's been here, 6 of his teams have been 6-2 and collapsed in the second half. Granted, in 2011 they won the Super Bowl. Okay. But those other teams, like 2009, they were 5-0, finished 8-8, didn't make the playoffs. 2010, they were 6-2. They had that historical collapse at home against Philly, and they didn't make the playoffs. They did finish 10-6, but you know what? They were up 3 touchdowns against Philly and fucking shit the bed and choked that game away. He should have been fired in 2010.
All right.
And then 2011.
Well, this is coming from. I like
a
Justin.
diehard. Yeah.
Didn't we win a world war with a guy in a wheelchair?
Yeah, he wasn't on the front lines.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that he was in the wheelchair at the time, so it was just a completely different perception.
Yeah, someone was telling me that.
And technically he died during the war due to his sickness.
Someone was telling me that they were into Shea Stadium to see him speak once, and he rolled up in a convertible, and he didn't get out of the convertible and spoke on the mic, and then everyone was like, that's weird, the president didn't get out of the car while he did the speech.
Well, who is he, guys?
Whoa. Did you say Shea Stadium? Don't you mean the Polo Grounds?
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been it. It was someone from back east who told me about this.
Who is he? Tell the audience which
FDR.
president we're talking about.
FDR.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Just in case no one said his name.
Yeah, no one realized, I guess, at the time that he was handicapped, or they couldn't show him in that light. But yeah, if he were to give a speech to people, he would roll up in a car or some other creative way of getting him there, and he'd give the speech sitting down. And the people were like, "Oh, that's weird. He didn't stand up the whole time."
Yeah.
Well, remember, right? It was just film reels and all that kind of stuff, and he was probably well aware of when, the cameras were on him. He had to basically hold on to something for the most part.
Well, back to sports. I like Justin, but these complaints, he has grounds for these complaints, but at the same time, yes, he's been here 9 years. And he's had a lot of losing seasons as well, but he's also won 2 Super Bowls.
In
2 Super Bowls in 9 seasons, it might not seem like a fantastic thing, but if you take any other organization, that's pretty good.
And it wasn't like those Super Bowls were back-to-back, which is job security, because they could say, in 3 more years he'll do it again.
Yeah.
They just need to hash it out.
Hey, I'd rather be a New York Giants fan than, say, an Atlanta Braves fan. How the hell do you, make the, the playoffs? How many years straight? Was it 9, 10?
Like 10.
10, and they only got 1 series to show for it?
And that's still good. Look at the Mets. They don't even make the playoffs. Look at the Jets.
It says a lot about your organization. The Braves, they're happy. They're just happy to be there. They are happy to consistently be in a bracket that they make money on, and that keeps their organization going. The Mets, they're a joke. Let's not even talk about them. But the Giants, they are one of the better franchises in sports in that they want to put together something to win a championship, and they'll take a losing season in the process. So I don't know if a losing season is always the worst thing, because that gives everyone to refresh and change personnel if they need to. And
everyone's panicking because this wasn't necessarily the plan. Now people are discussing it as if, okay, we'll take this season to rebuild and go, but they didn't come into the season with that. They came into the season thinking that they would be a playoff contender.
Right, yeah, so they were like, all right, we had our building season, now we're ready to go. Oh, wait, what the fuck happened?
Exactly.
Right. Which reminds me, speaking of New York teams, Robinson Cano, apparently he's trying to get a 10-year deal worth $300 and change.
That's what he said he wanted a few weeks ago. He said he wanted a 10-year deal worth around $300 million, which is A-Rod money.
And he's not even right, and he hasn't even put up the A-Rod numbers.
And he's not even A-Rod pretty.
No,
well, that's entirely irrelevant. But the fact that he put up A-Rod type numbers.
Well, listen, as far as second basemen are concerned, he's pretty elite. If you compare him to all the other second basemen, he's pretty much head and shoulders above everybody else. But at this point in time, giving anyone a contract of that magnitude is just bad business. If that's what he's going to hold out for, somebody is going to look to make a splash. Some team is going to have extra money and probably give him something close to that, unless he wants to stay with the Yankees and take less money.
Yeah, but he might have to pay for Obamacare. He needs all the money he get.
That's true. I wonder what bracket he falls under. If he makes $30 million a year, would he be able to afford the $400 a month to pay for Obamacare? I don't know. That's interesting.
$400 a month adds up.
Yeah, it's just bad business. Look at A-Rod's contract. He's a shell of himself. He's always injured. He's getting sued. He's suing the MLB. He got in trouble for steroids. Albert Pujols signed a 10-year, $200 and something million contract 2 years ago. This year he missed half the season. He's a shell of his former self 2 years into the contract.
Ooh, that's a good rant. That's like a Justin rant. Play more of the Justin rant. I like when he curses.
That is good.
Justin.
I think 6-2. They were 6-6. They lost 4 in a row. And the Giants saved his bacon once again. They won the Super Bowl. Last year, unacceptable. 6-2 again, had a 3-game lead after Hurricane Sandy. Lost 3 in a row. Redskins took over the division. Giants had miserable losses in December against Atlanta, getting shut out in Baltimore. Didn't make the playoffs. And yet he was brought back again here this year. Now on to 2013, this year. Giants are 0-4. And here we go again. This team is too talented to be this bad. They're too talented. Something's got to give. Something is not right. And you know what? It starts with the coaching staff. They need a new scheme in here. They need a younger coach with new coordinators and a different scheme, because this same old garbage is too predictable.
Yeah.
My friend works for CBS Radio, and former Giants are telling him that Kevin Gilbride is the problem, and they will never get rid of him unless Coughlin's gone. You know what? It's time for Coughlin to go. Guy's almost 70. He's got to go. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, that's true. Everything he's saying is true. Sometimes, you have a great leader or figurehead, but, if the insides are corrupting, you got to wipe the whole organization. You got to wipe it clean. It's not just Tom Coughlin, it's all the people that are around him too. And if that's the issue, then, hey, Tom, you know what? Just as many good seasons as you gave us, we paid you for all of them. Take care with all that money. See ya.
Agreed.
Justin, I would like very much to hear your opinions on other things going on in the world of sports, not just New York sports. If you could be as passionate.
Passionate.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Be passionate.
What else is going on in sports?
Nothing to brag about. Football's on. Baseball postseason right now. Nothing really happening. Basketball's going to start up soon.
And hockey already started.
Oh, like I said, nothing important is going on.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering what was going on, if we still played that sport. I just saw the trailer for NBA 2K14, the newest video game of basketball. They always do a great job with the graphics on basketball video games, and this time it's so realistic looking.
I know, and they're very good. That's an excellent basketball game.
I remember NBA Live 95 and 94. Those were the last ones I think I played.
And I think I forced you to play those.
Well, do those games still exist? Live? NBA Live?
No, I'm not 100% sure. I think 2K took over the market. I don't know if they didn't do a Madden and bought the rights, I don't think, but 2K just started being head and shoulders above Live.
Yeah.
And it was very evident. So EA just kind of
put
the bed.
Yeah, wow.
Because that was the king basketball game for a long time, up until the early 2000s, I'd say.
I think a lot of people have been pissed at EA. They were having a lot of problems over there.
Yeah, maybe they need to clean,
they need to do a
clean house. Yeah.
Do you remember on Dreamcast when 2K first debuted? It was on Dreamcast.
Yeah, that was crazy.
2K football, and I think they had 2K baseball and basketball as well.
And they were all great.
The one funny thing I remember is that when you played as a lefty quarterback in 2K, the ball spun righty.
That's true. It came out of your hand as spiraling if a righty threw it.
Well, what it did, if you remember, is for the first frame of the animation when it left your hand, it was spinning lefty, and then it stopped midstream and began its righty rotation down the field.
That's true.
And the game had instant replay, and it was the first console to have sharp graphics, so it was very evident what was going on.
I know, that was good times.
But, anything else going on with sports or news or anything like that?
Nah. Well, nah, not really.
All right, we'll wrap this up. Brian, are you still alive?
Yeah, it's a miracle.
Brian, time out. Before we go, Brian, you need to, do a monologue now. You haven't spoken for, 2 weeks.
Oh, I've been in deep thought.
Go on. This is your monologue. I'm not saying anything.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I don't know if I can compete with any of your points A and B, but I've had a pretty good week. I was in Pittsburgh.
The Steel City.
Yep, that's right. I was shooting a TV show that's going to be premiering in January. And Chris, could you turn that off?
No, don't turn it off. It's funny. This is Brian. This is your moment.
Anywho, I think you guys would definitely enjoy the show because I'm in there for a hot minute, and I play a deadbeat dad, and I have a crazy baby mama who's literally shooting at me, trying to kill me.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you preparing for your future?
No. I should though, but I mean, I don't think I'm not trying to be a deadbeat dad, you know.
Don't be a dad at all, not yet.
Or dad for in general
Period.
for that matter.
Yeah, don't do that yet.
So yeah, but yeah. In other news, it's funny that we talked about Cano.
Wait
I
a
heard
second,
that,
time out. What is the show called that you're going to be on?
All right, it's called Those Who Kill. It's based off of a Danish series.
Ah,
And
very good. Very good.
the star of the show is Chloe Savini. She's from Big Love, and she's done a slew of other films like Kids.
Yeah,
you guys ever seen that?
I like her. Yeah, Kids was a crazy movie.
Yeah, and
very good.
No, I'm not finished yet. Anyway, the girl that was shooting at me is this woman by the name of Vanessa Shaw, and she's been in a slew of things like Hocus Pocus. That's the only thing I could think of right now. And have you guys seen that latest remake of The Hills Have Eyes?
No, I didn't see it.
All right. Well, she plays like one of the doomed mothers and all that, but she's been in a ton of stuff like that. Like, what's that Josh Hartnett film where he's not gonna have sex for 40 days or something like that?
No, all right, Brian. What else is going on in your life?
What else is going on in my life? Still trying to see if I get.
Give us more.
Really?
We want more. We want more info about what's going on in your life.
What's going on in my life? Trying to maintain my job because I've been missing so many days.
Oh, because of the acting stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a weird toss-up when you're an actor.
You're in the union; they can't fire you.
I know, but they always. But what cracks me up is that they always threaten me like they can do it. You know, I mean, they tend to forget that there's so much paperwork that's involved.
George, can you turn up the song, Brian's song? Yeah, Brian's life. Fascinating.
I can't compete with this.
Nor should you.
Give us more.
Anyway,
I think I gave you enough. Oh yeah. Oh no, I forgot. No, I forgot to tell you that a film that I did. I don't know if I told you about this. This thing called Paranormal Gentrification. It'll be playing
AKA Negro Ghost.
Wait a second.
No, actually, the White Ghost. But who's keeping track?
Shit, my bad. Yeah, you're right.
Wait, when does that come out?
Well, it's gonna be at this film festival called Katra. It's gonna be in the city, and also it's gonna be premiering at another film festival tomorrow. So it's making its rounds in these smaller venues.
Well, congrats to Brian Williams, talented guy, getting it done. Good job.
In other words, man, a few words. That's what you really want to say.
No, I mean, I think you're a very funny guy. I'm not sure why you don't speak on the show.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But there's always time for that in future episodes. You should work on that, Brian.
Yeah, you're right. I should definitely, go to a class for that, for speaking on a podcast.
Yeah, the local community college. Podcast Speaking 101.
I'm sure it's legit.
Yeah, you get a certificate.
Oh yeah.
You want to hear something crazy?
What's up?
At work, it's like a corporate place, so they make you once in a while fill out like these surveys of like sexual harassment or copyright infringement, sort of things like that, you know? Mm-hmm. But the way they set it up was in the form of like a very childish way with pictures and like, what would you do if you were the detective? And at the end of it, they give you a detective certificate.
Oh, nice, I guess.
It was so insulting.
I'm going to go use the facilities now because my bowels have just been irritated.
All right.
Sorry about that, George. I didn't mean that.
No, not you. Well, you a little bit, but in HR in general.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, right. Nature calls, right.
All right, so guys, thanks everyone. George, thank you. Brian, thank you.
No, thank you.
That was a good episode, talking about sex and addiction and how it's fun and how it can be not so fun.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody out there, go check out shootingtheish.com, facebook.com/shootingtheish. Thanks for all the support. Guys, thanks everyone for calling in. That was awesome. And email us, and if you want to call in or give any voicemails, go to, why do I keep saying go to? Email us at shootingtheish@gmail. Is it Gmail? What is that?
It's Gmail.
All right.
Gmail.
Don't use AOL, please, whatever you do.
No.
Shootingtheish, ISH@gmail.com. You've been listening to Shooting the Ish.